Here's Brody Brazil.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the video, and this is going to be a weird one. I'll recap my 2021 in 162 pictures. 162 is how many games you play in a baseball season. I didn't try and hit that number. I just went through my phone and picked out the images and videos that I thought best reflected this past calendar year for myself individually. And let me just say, 2021 still trips me out on a number of different levels, starting with this. I was born in 1981, so obviously I turned 40 this year, but the 2020s, we're still early in this decade. It just feels like we're living in the future in so many ways. That year, to me, still seems 15 years away, except that, guess what? It's all done, basically, in the next handful of days or hours, depending on when you watch this. The other thing about 2021, before I get into all these pictures, is that, quite honestly, it wasn't that great. I mean, anything next to 2020 seems better. Certainly, right? 2020 was a nightmare on a number of different levels. But if you compare 2021 to 2017 for most people, 2015 for most people, 2012, 2019, considering all that we still go through on a daily basis and so many just negative things in our world, I'm not here to dwell on it. That's not the point of this video. I just want to declare that from the top. If I watch this in 10 years from now, I want to share all these pictures with you, but I also want to say, overall, this year was not normal. It was an improvement from 2020, but almost anything had to be. Okay, that being said, let's dive into the photos. I do them here by month. I've got 162, so I better hit the gas. I literally started this calendar year with that black eye right below my left eyeball right there. That was a product of New Year's Eve. I was putting my son to bed. He rolled over unexpectedly. The back of his head, the front of my face, bang. And I knew we were doing TV shows in about 2 weeks' time, and I didn't know if this would heal in time. Fortunately, it did. This actually wasn't the worst of it. It got a lot bigger and more colorful. But yeah, I started 2021 with a black eye. I also had that haircut still. Notice the bandana on my neck. I wore those a ton, or the headband, I should say, because, yeah, so much hair in my face, hard to sleep. That was so uncomfortable right there. I could literally take my hair from the top or from the back. It could reach my mouth. It's disgusting to think about right now. I will not ever go back to that. Next pandemic, I'm shaving my head when my hair gets too long. Anyway. So yeah, that's what I looked like, and I almost forgot about all this stuff. Now we're back in studio. I'm doing work. The NHL season started, I don't know, 14th, 15th, 16th of January, something like that. Me and Brownie socially distanced. Obviously, we get into these situations looking like that. Look at Curtis's beard. Look at my hair. None of us wearing makeup anymore. Makeup artist? No, not during a pandemic. You just go in how you look, and you make television. So there you go. But in a lot of ways, you know, a return to normalcy, so to speak. This was my first time back in the studio in, I want to say, about 9 or 10 months. From March of 20 to January of 2021, I did all my television work here in the home studio. I love this place. It was good to me, but obviously going back into the studio was, you know, what we normally do. So we're making TV.
I don't care what you think, or you probably don't think what I think.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
What do you think about the hair?
Hockey hair. That's about as close as you get it to a hockey player. It's looking
Better
good.
hockey hair than you ever had. All right, we're having fun here, but we got to switch gears.
Solid chirp, Brazil. Obviously, the chirps were a bit rusty back then. All right, January 2021, deep dish pizza on a cold night. Wash it down with a pint of beer. I can tell that's at least an IPA, if not a double IPA. And the Apple TV remote. That right there is my 8:15 on non-working nights. That's what my 8:15 p.m. looks like. 2 slices of deep dish? I guarantee those were from Zachary's Pizza, by the way. Yeah, that actually looks quite appetizing right now. No surprise, that's what I was doing back then. Okay, now we're outside. Finally, a beautiful January day. My son and I, we like to make a lot of trips to the airport. It's a great place. I'm a pilot, by the way. I know a lot of you know that, flight instructor. So we get to go on the premises at Livermore Airport, kind of driving around there. We're on the approach end of runway 25 right, but watch this. This is a video I captured. You're going to hear my son here in a second. That's a banner tow. He's about to say that, I think. There's a banner, right. So the airplane's going to drop that banner, but look what that banner says. There's the banner drop. So they drop the banner, then they come around and land. That Robin Hood scandal, somebody paid for that banner to be probably flown around San Jose, Silicon Valley, whatever, and they dropped it back off at Livermore. I never got around to posting that before, but there you go, my year in review. I literally think it was the last day of January 2021 until I took the Christmas lights down from our house. And why not, right? 2020, rough year. Just had to, leave the holiday season lasting as long as legitimately possible. So I left the lights up extra long last year. Ooh, the Peloton, getting a lot of rides. And you know what depresses me right off the bat? Seeing that M and 30s. That was when I was in my 30s. 39 still in January. I don't know what this award was for, this star, but obviously I had just done something noteworthy. Okay. We're in February, and I love the sound of the nail gun, by the way. I'm building something right there. I know what that is, and I'm about to share with you what it was. You just saw the Peloton, my wife and I, riding that a ton, especially early in the year. But I think this was a Valentine's Day gift. A gift for both of us. She wanted it. I wanted to make it. It's this like Peloton custom hanging rack, for our shoes, and a yoga mat, and a foam roller. And I custom built this based on some things we knew we wanted to hang. I think my heart rate monitor is over there too. This is also a shelf to put like a water bottle on or something else, or your phone while you work out. So I decided to make that. And I make a lot of things, but this one was pretty cool to, just kind of bang it out in a day and a half, some spare time, and then install it right on the wall. That thing is solid. It's screwed to the studs. It's not going anywhere. And yeah, I see that thing every day still. And that was a fun project. So I had some fun times of early 2021. Doing some work with the Sawzall out on the side or backyard there. Looks like I cut a fair amount of a tree down, doing my own amateur tree trimming there. Ooh, here I am in this home studio. But see, doesn't that look a lot different than this right now? This is a little more clean, a little more straightforward than that. I don't even know what video that was, but that image was on my phone. We're chatting with Timo Meyer, looking like that. I do like the tie selection there. Timo, if he could see me right now, he'd be like, well, who am I even talking to anymore? I wouldn't recognize you. Oh, in February 2021, we welcome back the Bald Eagle. That's right. Drew Remenda started joining us remotely from Canada. We didn't get to see him in person at all during the last hockey season, the 2021 campaign, but it's great to have him back on our shows. There's me and Brownie. You can see our setup, and you can see Drew there too. So that was a special thing.
Well, over the years, we've seen SAP Center host All-Star games and a Stanley Cup Final and thousands of other events. But today, after 11 months with no hockey at all, we will see the tank like we've never seen it before.
No
with
fans.
Zero Sharks fans inside. However, San Jose just happy to finally be home in their own building in their first meeting of 2021 against Las Vegas. We welcome you here to Pregame Live. Brody Brazeau with Curtis Brown. To be precise, Brownie, 343 days since March 8th, 2020, when the last Sharks game took place in San Jose.
So for the Sharks, I mean, it was weeks. It was like 40 days away from their home. They finally get to come back and play their first game. It was against the Golden Knights. And yeah, the first time we'd ever seen the tank with no fans in attendance. Nice February day, chasing my son. By the way, there are, as you would imagine for any parent, there are hundreds, maybe even thousands of pictures and videos of my son on my phone. I choose to share consciously, or I select the things I want to share and don't. So you're not going to see a ton of him on here. Just not something I've chose to do on social platforms. But granted, just so you know, there's a lot of pictures of my kid on here, on my phone. All right, March of 2021, finally some rays of light. I feel like this picture alone just encapsulates the month of March 2021. Some rays of sun through all that cloudiness. We took this on a walk, and my son saw this and was like, Daddy, look at that. It's like, wow, I would not have noticed that if it wasn't for you. I took a bunch of pictures, and that was probably the best one. We go on some drives in the backcountry. He likes to just see cows, and I know of a place where we can pull up on the side of the road and look at cows. Look how green that grass is. Look how chill those cows are. Oh, there's another beast. That's our dog Melvin, getting a nice walk. Obviously, my wife is walking him there with the leash. He looks more interested in me and not her right there. Maybe it was the camera, but what a cute bubs. Okay. We're at the tank. That's Scott Hannon and I doing TV shows, but why are we on the Jumbotron? Literally because there's nobody else in the building. The video crew there has nobody else to like focus on or chirp or whatever. Hanner's saying in air quotes or bubble quotes, Brody really needs a haircut. And then there's my thought about that. My hair looks amazing. So you get to be on the Jumbotron, the big screen, when nobody else is there. Look at all the seats, like nobody literally there. The players, a couple broadcasters, and that's it.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I mean, listen to this. It's so awkward when the camera, I think here, pulls out in a second. Oh, I guess it didn't. I might have cut it off. But it's just so weird to see that and no fans. This was the first time we'd ever seen this. I think here's another video of it.
ladies and gentlemen,
So here's what I do when there's no fans. See, there was a fan there. When would I ever have that opportunity in normal life to do that? So again, just weird moments of 2021. We're in hockey season. We're getting ready for baseball season. There's me, there's Shooty Babbitt way off in the distance over there doing our A's season preview show for 2021. Oh, I guess we're back out at the airport. We're looking at a Learjet in the hangar. So yeah, my son and I, we just take casual trips out to the airport, watch some planes land, stuff like that. Doing a lot of remote work still. This is me maybe setting up to do a chat with Doug Wilson. I think this was right around the trade deadline. I believe he's in his hotel in Anaheim right there. But this gives you a look at, in fact, I'm looking at this very screen right now as I make this video. This gives you a look of what I see at the home studio, all the different inputs, the audio levels, stuff like that. So let me move my mouse. Taking another walk. Looks like it's still wet and rainy in March. Feel like this is an ASMR video, by the way, with all that. That was cool noise, right? That was off the iPhone camera. And yeah, my son is amused. Shout out to Lone Cone. They make those boots, which he loves. And yeah, and they let him walk right in the in puddles and mud and everything else. Oh, we're soldering. I got a soldering iron for Christmas, I think 2020, right? So now into 2021. And I realized for you expert solderers out there, 400 degrees too hot. I learned that instantly. You can clearly see I might have melted some of the connector there. I'm working actually on an audio cable right there, soldering that all up. So that's what that was all about. All the Earthquakes sent me one of their new kits to promote on social media. Look at that form fitting right there. But I always love their jerseys. I love their colors, and I always appreciate them having me help share when they drop a new jersey and sending me kind of a custom one to share with people. Oh, 150 Peloton rides. Man, we are really cooking on that bike. Back out to the airport. This is Livermore, and this is something you never see out there. A C-17. Listen to that. There's Livermore. I'm not going to lie. That gets me going. I was doing a training flight. It was just doing a low approach there. Wasn't going to land. Kind of lined up for it and then decided to go around on its way. Back closer to home, my wife and I were taking a walk one day. We saw this duck. It was beautiful. I had my camera. I was kind of doing a photo walk. Just amazing. I forget the name of it. Some of you out there, I'm sure already know it. But yeah, that was such a cool duck. That's what the tank looks like, with 0 fans in attendance. All those seats tarped off, some extra advertisements, but definitely an experience that I hope to never have again, and one that I never thought I would ever have. Very, very unique. Awkward, eerie, all of the above. I'm glad not a lot of you had to experience that. All right, got my first vaccine shot in March of 2020. Don't mind the the arm hairs there. Good job there, Brazil. Way to clean it up. Yeah, and you know what? I don't think I took that Band-Aid off for like 2 weeks. I just let it on there. It was a turning point for a lot of us. Granted, things have taken some turns since then, but I think the fact that we had finally reached the phase of, almost a year basically at that point, waiting for something and then the world finally getting it. Back at work, you can see things are going great at the anchor desk here with my PC. What in the world? I think we're like minutes away from this game ending. Looks like it was the Sharks and Desert Dogs there, 8:35 p.m. There's one of the cameras pointing at me. But yeah, my PC decided to stop working in the middle of the show. Baseball season. All right, opening day. Or opening night, that's what this was here at the Coliseum. And my first time back, I did not go out there at all during 2020. So just being out there. Now, we were not allowed on the field yet. Fans were allowed, obviously. It was a bit sparse at the beginning, but just to be out there for the first time since the playoff game of 2019. It was a long time coming, and I got to come across my cutout. Look at that, for example. Like, our cutouts were up there at the beginning of the season, up in the treehouse. Me, Dontrell, Stu, Shooty, and Bip, they left them up, which I thought was cool, but maybe they also forgot about us. But I had to get a selfie with my cutout. This is on my 40th birthday. I just picked up that new Kelly Green A's hoodie. I saw some of the players wearing them. I said, I got to get one of those, so I did. And I took that photo. I'm 40 years old precisely on that day right there. Yes, I was at an A's game. I was working. Quite honestly, that spells out my life pretty much. At the Coliseum or working on a birthday, 40 years old. There's the cake with my family. I just celebrated with my wife, son, and mom and dad. And I think that was pretty much it. So my 39th and 40th birthdays, and obviously holidays in between, everything toned down very much. Okay, we just finished our maybe first pregame show of the year. Some colleagues here from NBC Sports. I could name them, but let's just say, producers, one of my bosses there, camera person, field producer. We had quite the crew out there for opening night. And it felt good to be out there again. Somebody's Photoshop work here on the right. That's my actual hair. Then it's on Dontrell. Then it's on Jose Altuve. Then it's on Canna. Oh, it's on Foss. More on Foss later, by the way. And it's on Bomel. Yeah, I sent that picture to a couple people. They got a kick out of it. Oh, yeah. April of 2020. Sorry. April of 2021. I crashed my car. Yeah, I didn't really share that before until now. But that happened. Don't want to get into it too much. Kind of an incident where I was paying attention, not texting, not distracted, not driving with emotion or anger. Literally, traffic came to a quick halt on 680. And as I was trying to look back over my shoulder, change lanes, navigate away from it, I had some space. All of a sudden, as we were slowing down, the car in front of me did the same thing, and it revealed a car that was completely stopped. I braked as hard as I could. Honestly, the impact was, and I was on my way to work. I ended up not making it in that day. I was on time for an interview with Bob Melvin, in fact, at like 4:15 or whatever. Barely even made contact with the Volvo SUV in front of me. I was probably going 10 miles an hour or less on impact, but that's what happened to the car I had been driving since 2014 or so. Done. In an instant. Fortunately, I was okay. Everybody was okay. No incident, but what a headache that is to total your car. It was old, and that's why it got, it was considered total. But to go through that process, that was not fun. I was not expecting that. Who would? But there you go. Back in the home studio, doing a lot of work in here. Again, making YouTube videos. I hadn't really hit the peak of YouTube yet. I was still it was midsummer when I finally started, putting out videos on a regular and consistent and successful basis. But back out at the Coliseum a ton in April and May. My wife and I decided then to do a road trip after I got a new car. We decided to go on a little trip. We drove from our house to Half Moon Bay, a little day trip. Half Moon Bay, drove down Highway 1 from Half Moon Bay to Santa Cruz and then back home. Well, my parents did a little babysitting, and it's crazy. I've lived in the Bay Area all 40 years. I've never done this drive. I'm not sure why I had never done it before this. Not the most beautiful day, still a little overcast, but the scenery. There's Shark Fin Cove right there. Just unbelievable. Obviously, I brought my good camera for that. There's my wife and I in Half Moon Bay, and that bear you'll notice is one that my son gave to me somewhere early in 2021, maybe for Christmas of 2020, and I decided to start bringing that bear to work with me. And on trips like this, whenever we were away for, hours at a time, I would bring the bear, we'd take a picture, make a video with it, and then send it back to whoever was watching him. So that's the bear my wife and I took. Look at my, who's got better hair, me or my wife? Obviously, she's got the right hat on, but look at the flow right here. Look at the headband. Anyway, we're out there in Half Moon Bay. Okay, the hair's looking like this. And I have a feeling I know what's about to happen. I think it was April 27th. Bang! Sharp Barbershop in Lafayette. My boy EJ took care of all that. Look at that right there. People say, well, did you save some? Hell no, I didn't save any. I took this picture and I got the heck out of there. So that's how my hair looked before. Oh my goodness. You don't know how good that felt right there. It's amazing to say that a haircut would make you feel like a totally different person. It's just hair and you can't even see it. Unless you're looking at a mirror, you can't even see your own hair. But man, I felt like a totally different person right there. It was so much better. Honestly, it took weight off my shoulders, literally. It kind of erased, the prior, I don't know, it had been, I did the math. It was like 500 days, I think, since my prior haircut. It erased, a lot. I don't know if it made it go away completely, but definitely changed the tune of where things were at, where things were headed, at least for the time being. I felt great. Hopefully it translates right there. All right, we're back at work here. Looks like I'm in Studio A doing A's pregame live. I don't know. I guess I just thought this was a cool shot. I think Shooty and I were working that series. A's were in Tampa. I think they split that series, but they actually played pretty well. Things were going good at the beginning of the A season. They lost like 7 of their first 8, but then they won, was it 13 in a row, 14 in a row, something like that. Keeping score of a lot of baseball games. That's my favorite pen. I talk about this all the time. The Bic 4-color pen, red, green, blue, and black. Looks like it's Garcia, Machine, Kemp. Who is that there in right field? I can't even, I'm trying to read what that says. R-A-U, well, I don't even know what that is. Chapman I can see. Anyway, I don't want to waste too much time on this picture, but yeah, I'm keeping score of probably that Tampa game. Oh, check this out. We're back.
And here comes Brody Brazil. Only shows up for the big nights, such as this one.
Patrick
Marlowe, breaking the all-time games played record. I have no idea what he's doing.
Going through the shark head.
He told me that he was going to try to go through the shark head 1,768 times. For some reason, he thinks those are games played. I got news for him. They're not.
Yeah, so during the game, we were just out there acting like idiots. On the ice, taking slap shots, everything. It was, well, not slappers, not with the shark head around. We got to keep that safe. But, yeah, there's your iconic duo right there, me and Brownie. Although he's got a better stick than I do. He's got the true stick. I'm on the Bauer over there. I think that was like Ben Ferrio's stick I was using. I got a bunch of old ones there. Anyway, long story short, very cool night. We were at the tank. The game was in Las Vegas. Doing some yard work. Look at the leaf blower. I think it's called something blossom, a Japanese blossom. What's the name of this tree? It drops a bunch of those white things. Anyway, yeah, I do a ton of yard work around here. May of 2021. Man, we're barely even into this month. A lot of baseball, or this year, I should say. A lot of baseball. I'm working games. My son at the park, walking around the field. Look at the blue skies. Back here in the home studio. Oh, another road trip. We did one in April, right? We did Highway 1. Here in May, we went to Bodega Bay. And look how beautiful those colors are right there. Look, I mean, granted, I took the picture, but it's not that. Look what Mother Nature did for us on this day. Bodega Bay, by the way, super windy up there. Always bring a jacket when you go. But look at the scenery, the green of the hills and the brown of the sand and the blue of the sky and the water, just unbelievable. And yes, another photo with me and my wife and the bear. That picture I guarantee got sent to, I think my parents were watching our son on that day. Yeah, it was so windy, by the way, during that picture. I think we almost got blown over. Oh, we might have stopped and did a little wine tasting along the way of the Sonoma coast on our way back home. It was in May that we realized that July 20th was going to be a huge date for the A's, the city council voting on the term sheet. That turned out to be a whole different story than we expected, but the fact that there was some progress for the A's in a new stadium. We call this a kid hike. This is my son and I just going out on, a typical old hike. This one's kind of near our house. I thought this was very cool. Just, it looks like a Microsoft Windows background, the sky and the hills and whatever in the trees. And there he is kind of running with, all hands flailing and everything. He's running up that hill. So, of course, before I chased him, I snapped that picture. Okay, this guy's name is Matt Chapman. Okay, this guy's name is Matt Olson. Matt Olson. And this guy's name is Ramon Laureano. Laureano. You call him Laser Ramon. Laser Ramon. That's right. You can never start him too early, honestly. We like to play chalk in the backyard. One day he said, you draw something. I said, okay. We're going to have a little lesson here on A's baseball. Bob Melvin, in that month, became the winningest manager in Oakland history, surpassing Tony La Russa. If we only knew at the time, it would be Bo Mel's last season at the helm. I like olives. I get olives every other week at the farmer's market. It's because the olive guy comes every other week, and he puts a little olive oil in there. He puts some seasoning in there. Ooh, just yummy to look at. I took that picture of a squirrel in our backyard. He found an orange from a neighbor's yard and decided to sit there and eat it. I'm like, okay, if you're going to sit there, I'm going to take a cool picture of you. I don't know. Why are these on my phone? Why am I sharing them? This is just my year. June 2021. Clearly, I'm at Bevmo or somewhere similar. I am buying a lot of Altamont Beer Works Maui Wowie. The single and double IPA version of that drink. I'm also making a lot of Legos. This was the year my son got into Legos heavily. So we just kind of I think I made our dog right there. No instructions, no nothing. That's our dog, Melvin. A lot of Thomas. Thomas the train, or Thomas the tank engine, technically, whatever he's called. And the minis. These are minis. Now, at this point, it looks like we have 3, 7, 10, 18, I don't know. Let's call it like 25, 30 minis right there. That's all we had at that point. I think we've doubled, if not tripled, that amount of Thomas minis. Those little trains they're only about like that big. We have a lot of those. We've multiplied. Oh, Melvin, what are you doing? Are you being a dog? Are you peeing on a fire hydrant while I walk you? Yes, you actually are. Melvin getting a lot of walks. Oh, here was the day I decided to do a little surgery on the, this is the home video surveillance system. It needed a new hard drive. So I thought, well, I could probably do this. I used to work on PCs back in my college days, so I took the thing apart. Yes, that fan is tied in with little rope ties. There you go. And there's a brand new 4 terabyte hard drive that I installed. Congratulations. Oh, check this out. First time back on the field since 2019. I know that video is not exciting really, but that's my first time walking on the Coliseum field, a place that I normally go dozens of times at least every single year and have been for many years. But when you don't go there all of 2020, and yeah, it had been since that wild card game of 2019, since I'd been on the field, we were finally allowed. What did I say? We're in June here. This is the first time back on the field since 2019. First time that we were allowed to do that. Back at the studio, this is the control room. Again, a minimal amount of people here in the studios to keep everybody healthy. Oh, I guess we've finally reached our first hot day of the year. 108? No thank you at 2:19 p.m. And yes, I do use 24-hour time on all my devices across everything I have. Oh, that looks like is it Mr. Softy? Yeah, Mr. Softy. Rolls around the East Bay. Look at that cone right there. Okay. I made a video on this. You can check it out on my channel elsewhere, but back in the day, I never saw The Office as it came out in real time, from like 2000, was it 6 or 7 or 8? Whenever I don't even know. I missed all the episodes. So finally in 2020, my wife and I sat down and watched, and she'd watched all of them, watched every episode of The Office, on Peacock, by the way, from start to finish. How did I never see any of that? It was hilarious. This is a typical night in the summertime for us. Mexican meal right there. Looks like I'm halfway into my drink. There's the baby monitor. I don't know. It's probably 8:15 p.m. Again, this is the TV hour for me and my wife. I really loved The Office. You can get more of my thoughts on it in that video, but how did I not see this before? So many pop culture references that I'm now actually aware of. Okay, we're on another, in fact, this was our first overnight trip since who knows when. My wife and I guess this was in June, we went to Carmel by the sea. And we made a trip to Monterey, made an overnight trip to Monterey. This was a beautiful place I randomly came across called The Getaway. This is the lobby area. Just a really like quaint little, I don't want to call it a motel, but you know, that's the kind of style. But it was modern. You can tell somebody put some time, effort, and money into this place to really make it accommodating. It was right next to downtown Carmel. You could walk right down the street. So next time I go to Carmel, The Getaway is what I highly recommend, and this is where I'm staying next time. They had a little happy hour there. It was all outside, 3, 4, 5 o'clock p.m. So very cool place to spend our first night away in a long time. Walking around Carmel, I decided to take some photos of the scenery. Bixby Bridge down in Big Sur. I'd never seen this in person. Again, I've lived in this area 40 years. I had never seen this in person. Seen videos, seen pictures. I didn't even know where it was. We drove down there. I took some shots from this angle, took some shots from the other side. Majestic and also super impressive to know that this was constructed, I think, in the early 1900s. That's pretty impressive. I mean, they didn't have all the tools and bells and whistles that we have today. And there it is still standing in beautiful fashion. Look at the colors again. Look at that day. This is more on our drive on the California coast around Big Sur. There it is to prove it. I still got my haircut. My fancy glasses. So we're pretty happy taking a trip. Obviously, the Lone Cypress there at Pebble Beach. That's a classic photo, which of course I had to take. How about this? A gray sky day out at the Coliseum. But again, feeling good to be just back out on the field. All right, we're finally halfway through the year. Wow, this video it's going to take some time. We're in the month of July. I'm riding the wave with Matty O. Look at this. Interviewing players in person. That's where we were at the beginning of July. It's not where we are here in December of 2021, but that's where we were back then. Credit to Matty O for doing that with me, by the way. I think he was probably like, I'm going to regret this. He's going to make this into a GIF. It is a gift, though. We took a little ride on the Niles Canyon Railway. My son, again, loves trains. My parents suggested it. Starts in Sunol, kind of goes through the canyon to Niles, basically the connector from like Pleasanton to Fremont almost. If you like trains and you've never done this, I highly recommend it. It was also great for us at the time. It was all outdoors, beautiful day, wasn't too hot yet, so very, very cool trip. This is me and my son out at the San Leandro Marina. No, that's not my son, that's a squirrel, but he finds squirrels interesting. There were thousands of ground squirrels out that day. And you can see the waterway here. The Oakland airport is off in the distance, and so is San Francisco. But it was going to be a hot day. You know, where we live in the East Bay inland, if you go back, closer to the water, it's a little bit more bearable. So a nice, breezy, chilly, typical Bay Area weather, right? Hot inland in July, but cooler by the coast. So that's where we went for a little bit of a break. I know where we're at here. We're at the Oakland Zoo, and we're up at the higher level here. You take the gondola up. And what a view. This is always such a view of downtown Oakland, San Francisco. The gondola's coming in here. There's a restaurant at the top. Again, I feel like I'm promoting all these places, but if you haven't been to the Oakland Zoo, or if you ever want to take advantage of a great day, great weather day, go to the Oakland Zoo. Support the Oakland Zoo. They've obviously had hard times keeping their operation running through 2020. Glad they did it, and glad they're thriving. I think I have some other pictures here of another visit later on. So, well, there you go. Giraffes, my favorite. We very much like garbage trucks. And they're around on every Tuesday where we live. So yeah, we always wave to them. We, at this point, know all the garbage truck drivers. If they honk at us, that's the big, that's the big thing that happens. Or if they dump their, their front loader. See how I know all this stuff? If they dump their front loader in the hopper in front of us, that's also a big deal. I don't know what that picture was for. I'd probably send it to somebody, but looks like we're having casual day in the studios. I'm working A's pregame live. I'm still doing some interviews remotely, whether they're on the road or whatever, but we're back at full steam. Baseball season is cooking through July. Now we're in August. Aw, hi, Melvin. He looks so comfortable there on my belly. He doesn't like pictures, by the way. The dog, whenever I pull out the camera, he'll turn his head away. Like, no, he knows. Like, he knows when we pull I literally pull my phone out like, all right, I'm going to take a picture. And what dog does that? This one does. Okay, this is pretty funny. In August, I made a video suggesting that, hey, would Dan Boyle ever come back to hockey in a broadcasting or coaching capacity? I made that video. You can clearly see that I texted him this video. Oh, no, I take it back. I remember how this worked. He texted me this video. I meant to make it and then share it with him. So he got to see it, right? Like, Dan, I'm talking about you. So before and I didn't think he was on social media. I didn't know that he would find this before I got to send it to him. He texted me that, like, you made a video about me. He goes, not the most gifted, WTF. Because in the video, I said that, among the many things I liked about Dan Boyle was he was undrafted into the NHL, was not the most gifted in terms of physical attributes, size or speed or hardest shot, but he was always a smart guy, smart player. He was good at the game for reasons that weren't just given to him. Anyway, it was meant as a compliment, by the way. He knows that. He was just messing with me here. But anyway, sure enough, months later, Dan Boyle on our broadcasts. Coincidence? Had I been talking to him maybe? Yes. But I thought this was funny that he saw this video that I didn't send him. He found it on YouTube like a day later. It was like, not the most gifted. Anyway, it's like, uh-oh. All right, so it's mid-August. This is a month where my wife and I celebrate our anniversary. This is where we got married, at Klein Cellars in Sonoma. So we took another little day trip. Actually, I think this was an overnight trip. This was earlier in the month of August. We did a little tasting there. Oh, it was the first day of the year. Unfortunately, I got to say, 2020 was not a smoky year overly, at least where we live in the East Bay, as compared to 2020, or I think even 2019 was a really bad year. But this was like the first day of the year where you can see it there past the vineyards, like, oh boy. And it happened, the wind changed directions. It happened like overnight. So fortunately, it was a good trip. We weren't affected by the smoke, but I always think about people affected by the fires more than the smoke. Making some more Legos. Look at my son going right for the airplane. Oh, and the fuel truck right there. I might have helped, but no, I want, I like to see him put these together. And yeah, I think he knows what I like too. We build a lot of wooden tracks, a lot of Thomas wooden tracks. And these are not those minis. These are other trains, but look how many of these we got here. Probably upwards of 30 plus, I would estimate right there. Yeah, we build a track or two per day, like still. Build a lot of tracks. And fancy ones too, right? Don't just make amateur ones, make fancy ones. I think it was this night. We were pumping up Chris Bassett, what a season he'd had. He's got to be in the Cy Young conversation at this point. He just became an all-star and was, in the game in Denver. And literally later this night, Chris Bassett got hit in the head with that comebacker. Now, since then, we know how it turned out. He was fine. He was healthy. He pitched again in 2021. But on that night, to think that, a person's life, a person that, we don't know like on a friend basis, but a person who all of us know and you feel like we got to know, you feared for their life and their future vision and brain injuries. And could he hear and see and who? What a night. We went from this, literally this, to Dontrell and I in the postgame just almost in tears, not knowing what to say about his status. That was not fun. I started remote streaming, and I do a lot of these now after Sharks games. I'm sure I'll continue it in baseball season. Remote streaming from the conference room at NBC Sports on the second floor. I've got that whole space. I just kind of use it up. This was a very primitive setup. This was one of the first times I did it, but yeah, that was a big deal to start live streaming from the office. Another shot of it here. You can see the gaggle of wires. I'm not gonna lie, it's not the prettiest setup. I whip it together and as fast as possible, and then do the thing. Then I break it down, pack it away in cases, and set it back up the next time. So yeah, the live stream from the office was a big deal for me here on YouTube, especially in 2021. Getting ready for some Bay Bridge series games. You can see that graphic in the background. We still had that divider up, right? Between the people sitting on the desk. And I don't know if it's coming back in the near future or whatever, but sign of the times right there. Can't really see it on TV, but when you're in person, you can definitely see it. But we're in the studio there. I think that was me and Stu for that series. Chalk. I took that artistic picture in our backyard, my son and chalk. So many colors in that photo, but I just decided to do it black and white. And I do feel like August is that hot, dusty month. It kind of feels perfect for this photo right here. Oh, so in September, Brazil got a new toy. And I've been meaning to buy one of these for a couple years now. We have like a wall of ivy in our backyard. And it's just so hard to cut with the shears, or I have another trimmer that's corded, but I got to, that I'm on a ladder up 10 feet. It's just not fun. So I bought this DeWalt hedge trimmer. It's like a pole hedge trimmer. This thing is so money. It uses the same batteries that my drill and my impact driver do. And this, I literally just reach up and just go, zhoo, zhoo, zhoo. It's like giving the plant a haircut. So much easier. I was so happy to get, and I do all the yard work around here myself. So to get a tool like this helped me cut down on time and effort so much. So in a weird way, like I don't look forward to the next time I need to bust this out after all the overgrowth has happened, but I do know next time it'll be a lot easier because I have this again. So that was a big deal. I took a picture of it. It was that big a deal. The home studio, the very home studio that I'm working in front of right now, spent a lot of time here. And yeah, by September, the channel was starting to take off a little bit more. Live streams, more, Howard Terminal videos on the A's season, getting ready for Sharks. So really trying to build that out. Ah, man, Bob Melvin, A's manager. Again, we were about to find out, a month after this, that he's off to San Diego. So hard times. And I think there's more on that as we get to October. Back here on the field, the season had taken some dramatic turns. We were riding the wave, but quite honestly, we were more down here than up here. You could start to see the A's season unravel. They took gut punch after gut punch. Wow. Shooty Babbitt. Oh, man. This was one of the last series of the season. We were out there doing the show on location, and I don't know. That when Too Short came on, it's funny. He's bouncing to the beat there, and I'm like, he knows it's Too Short, but if we go any farther than that, if like a Drake song comes on or whoever, you name it, like he's right on the cusp of mainstream like hip hop knowledge, or at least artists and song names, all that stuff. But Shooty B getting down to the beat, I love it, man. And just look at the hat. Look how he dressed up to come out there. It was classic. It was a classic Shooty moment, right? Like that stuff like that. I love the guy, but stuff like that is just he always puts a smile on my face. So I kept that one on my phone too. Last game of the season right there at the Coliseum. And I took that picture because, at this point, even back then we didn't know how and where and when Howard Terminal was going. We still don't know 100%. We have good indications that it's going in the right direction, but I realized that how many more days like this would we have at the Coliseum? It's very reasonable no matter where the A's go, Howard Terminal or elsewhere, that we could only have 2 or 3 more seasons at the Coliseum of baseball, and that's it. And for somebody who's been going there for 40 years to think that there's only 3 years left, as much as I know this place needs replacement, I know it. there is a sentimental attachment that exists to this building, this facility. It's where I learned baseball. It's where I've watched thousands of games, got to work over the years. And I know it's special to all of you too. I don't need to explain that. But I imagine a lot of you feel this exact same way too about the Coliseum. So it just hit me on this last day of the season, for this year especially, because so much had happened, that we gotta remember this place differently. Okay. Out on another kid hike. That's beautiful Mount Diablo off in the distance. Look how brown all the hills are. Again, I went from green pictures earlier to just look at all that. Finally getting into September where the heat had dissipated. Finally a day we can get out there and not sweat our butts off. More kid hike action right there. And now we're in October. And this is the dream right here. Son walking the dog. Of course, I'm also holding a second leash. I think he just said Bubby's no. I don't know what he was talking about there. But yeah, my son walking Melvin. Whoa, whoa. We also came across this on a walk one day. My wife was like, whoa, whoa, what is that? What is that? I didn't see it either. You know, a harmless snake, but in the split second you see it, it's like, whoa, what is that? And my son literally got like 5 inches away from it. So fortunately, it just went off on its way. Hey, we're in nature, right? There was a creek right there. So it happens. But crazy to think about that. I actually think this picture is out of order. I might have taken this on my drive into work into the city. I think this was the last day of baseball season. And it was crazy because my phone was sitting in the console or on like on top of the handrest, and I just put my thumb on it. I was at a stop sign, I think. I put my thumb on it to just see what time it was or whatever, and then the camera popped up, and it was like looking at that view. And I was like, oh, I'll take that picture, please. So not one that I had intended to take, but I just thought of all the time I've drove in San Francisco, that was kind of a cool capture in the moment.
I will say the hair of Brody Brazil is something special. It must have been, I don't know how long it's been.
Jealous.
Since no, I mean, you could have played in the 70s with that length of hair. You know, but come on, Brody.
Well, Foss, I did get it cut, and yeah, you can already see it here. Like just, you know, hearing his voice and hearing him go at me like he used to. You know, to know that Ray would not be around much longer. I mean, by this point, I think, you know, this is October. This is when he passed. But I think his last broadcast with us was in August. And again, it's just one of those things that 2021 brought that you couldn't have expected. I wish it certainly didn't happen. I wish it even played out differently in a sense that it happened so quick. But I mean, nobody really got to, you know, have a time with them to share, and it was all. It just developed so quick. There wasn't the process. You know, the process never took place, and the opportunity never took place for a lot of us to let him know how we felt before he passed. So it's going to be weird going into 2022, and you know, just to hear a video like that, to see it, you know, back, that was probably from opening series. Yeah, I cherish that stuff now. I mean, I did in the moment too, but I saved it, but it means a whole lot different now. All right, it's going to take me a second to transition out of that. Now we're back at the tank. Hockey season has started. This is probably one of the bigger crowds, to be honest, of the entire season on opening night against Winnipeg. Sharks come back and win. Brownie and I are there. I'm outside now, hours later, hence the mask is off, and you know, but a success. We made it through opening night, and so did the Sharks. In fact, they won their first 4 games of the season. A little holiday decoration. This was a new addition for us at Halloween. Put some extra lights up on the house, a little spider web. We love crayons. We love garbage trucks, as you know, and that's my drawing on the top, and there's my son coloring in the garbage truck on the bottom. Okay, so now in October, with my wife's parents, my in-laws, we took another little excursion of a couple days down to Seascape. This is down in Aptos. I know a lot of you are familiar. My wife and I had been there before. Her and her family used to go there a bunch when she was younger. But we took advantage of this in October. I think we were a couple games into the Shark season that I missed a few on that first road trip. This is why. We just needed a getaway. Baseball season was very taxing. 2020 in general was very taxing. We had missed another opportunity to go away on our first vacation because pandemic took a turn. So we decided to make this more of a road trip than flying somewhere. But I took these pictures. Again, I'm proud of the pictures I took, but I'm more amazed by the beautiful landscape and scenery. Look at the colors there. We're here in Santa Cruz. My son walking down the pier. This looks like his album cover, by the way. You know, like put the name, the title of the album over here. This has an album cover vibe to it, I feel like. But a very beautiful day there. Look at was that sunrise? No, that's sunset right there. Yeah, it's got to be because the sun's out on the ocean, no, yeah, it's out there. It's sunrise or sunset, but no, this is sunset and a beautiful, beautiful evening right there. That was the view from our place at Seascape. More shots of the beach. Oh, and then our last day there, we come home and it's that rainstorm of October, late October. Look at this. That's a creek. I can usually walk under that bridge. That creek is a trickle, usually. And now it's up like a good 8-10 feet. Good sounds, huh, by the way. Look at that. You can't even walk, you can't even breathe under that bridge. I can usually walk under that bridge. It's pretty amazing how much rain came down in a couple days there. Oh, check this out. What is that?
He wants to go away.
Yeah, we'll help him.
We'll help you, buddy.
What do you want to say to the crawdad?
Hi, Crawdad. We're helping you.
We're going to send you home, buddy. You ready? Official update. He's back in the creek. Buddy, go back and live your life.
Yeah, my son and I found that crawdad. It got washed up, like because the creeks, and look how low the creek is there. I mean, and that's not even fully low, but the difference, right? The creek had washed up so high, the crawdad, we found him out on a section of grass, like literally 100 feet away from the creek. Like, you don't belong here, buddy. So we found him. My son was like, we got to save him. I was like, I agree. We went back home. We got the Home Depot bucket and we scooped him up. We saved him. I thought it was cute that my son was so interested. Like, what are we going to do with him? How are we going to do this? So we got through it. Okay, that's my son's Halloween outfit. That was made out of that's a diaper box. It's all cardboard. I custom crafted it, glued it together, taped it together. Some glued it together with hot glue. I painted it the base layer. My dad did a great job drawing the face on there. So I did all the base painting. He did all the detail work. Eventually we hung some strings on it. And that was my son's Halloween outfit. He was Thomas the Tank this year. And I thought that turned out pretty well. That was a lot of hours of work right there. But yeah, that used to be a cardboard diaper box that he would, and then he fits right in the middle. He walked around with that thing all Halloween. Haha, Mac Drizzle Diamond Double IPA. How about that right there? Altamont Beer Works. You know, I definitely enjoyed that 4-pack. I don't know why would I save that picture? I probably put it on social media, but yeah. I do have to say, in 2020 and 21, and I'm not saying this in a pride sense or an irresponsible sense. I don't think I've ever drank more than I have in the last 2 years. And I don't mean like obsessively drank, like I had 6 beers one night, or no, not that. I mean like literally every other night probably I have a drink now. I'm not saying I'm proud of it. I'm not saying it's great. I'm just saying that I enjoy beer, wine. I do. And responsibly. And you know what I think it is? I'm just home so much that I'm like, hey, I'm not going anywhere. I can't really do some things I want to do. I would do this with a friend if I could, if it made sense all the time. So there you go. Drinking a lot of beverages. There's Melvin and his cousin. Hi, Sophie. Sophie comes over, plays in our backyard. They chase each other around. Then they get really tired and they fall asleep on each other. Look at those looks, though. Like, that should be a screenshot right there. Those two dummies. They're so great, though.
You know, it was 3 years here. It was 1 year in Oakland.
wait a second. Let me preface this first. I'm going from one Melvin to another. And at the end of October, we found out that Bob Melvin was leaving for the Padres. And I think it was the first day of November when it was announced. I thank Bo Mel for giving me an exclusive interview. Here it is.
You know, it was 3 years here. It was 1 year in Oakland. You had to kind of think, where was the next level that Oakland was going to go? What was going to happen in the offseason? I don't know. But I have to think about that when you make a decision like this. So, you know, nobody should come down on anybody for this transpiring. And I appreciate the fact that Billy actually came to me and said, here's an opportunity. What do you want to do with it? That John Fisher said, here's an opportunity. What do you want to do with it? So I harbor nothing against anything Oakland. And I also like the fact that it's a good team still there. I'm not running out on a bad team. And when I had conversations with our guys in Oakland, I kind of was cringing, like, did I let them down? And to a man, they said, look, this is a business. If we were posed with the same, you know, situation,
sure,
we're going to.
Yeah, you know, that whole thing of Bob leaving and what transpired, it happened so quick. And I do thank him for always being my friend. And, you know, I reach out instantly, confirms it with me. He did this with me. I am so appreciative of his access and his friendship over the years. Yeah, that's honestly what it is. But it took me a couple days to really let that settle in, that he's not going to be around anymore. And again, in the same way that Ray Fosse has passed on, and that's life and death. Like, that's different. This in a similar but, you know, lesser way, it's the same thing. The realization has not taken place yet. I mean, I know it, but the true depth of the realization has not happened yet, that he's not the manager of the A's. And I would say the first couple days in November, I was bummed out. Really was. Farmer's market on this says farmer's market to me. Overcast, cool day in the fall. All the vendors are out there. Great produce, great stuff to buy. Love the farmer's market on Saturday mornings. Love my son helping out mowing the lawn. That's not a real lawnmower, by the way. It looks like I had just cut it myself. Look how good the grass was right there. It's not the same right now. We go from my house to Dan Boyle's house. We're doing a live broadcast. The first time we've ever tried something like this. Look at the view from Boiler's backyard. You can literally see in this one view, and you can't hear. This is a bad iPhone picture, and I've cropped it and stuff. This is his pool. And I think that, yeah, the hot tub's over here. There's a little fire pit down here. But downtown San Jose, if it's clear, you can see downtown San Jose. You can see downtown Oakland. If you step around the corner, you can see San Francisco. You can see the Golden Gate Bridge, the Bay Bridge. You can see all of that from Boiler's backyard. It's got to be a clear day. But I on this night, I could literally see all of it. He's got to get a telescope. You know what? I'm going to tell him that. He needs a telescope to really enjoy the distance. Anyway, so we did our remote broadcast from there. Boiler's house, tremendous. And you know what? It could be something where you're like, oh, you could boast because it is a great house, and I don't even want to know the value of it. Like, it's that crazy and that scary. But to me, the reason I wanted to share this is because Dan, he takes construction and he takes home building and all in design. He's very much into that. So this is less about, oh, look at what I've got. It's actually more about, look at what I helped build and created and masterminded here. He's very proud of that work. He put a lot of effort into the home construction of his spot for years. It took him years to build this amazing house. But anyway, there we are in Boiler's house. The Sharks lost that night. Rough game against the Avs. Now we go back to my house. It's not as exquisite. This is in the garage. I put this up there, plugged it into that new box up there. But this is a cool... Why am I sharing this? Because I'm just a geek. It's a retractable extension cord right next to the garage door opener. So if I want to do any work in the garage, I just pull that thing down and I've got plugs. I just, nailed it to the rafters, screwed it to the rafters, and yeah, I'd been wanting that for a while. So anyway, again, I'm just sharing everything here. My son got some remote control cars that we cracked open. We had a lot of fun with those. We're out in a nearby parking lot to play with those. Oh, watch this.
The egret slowly prowls among the meadow, looking for its next meal. How's my accent, young man?
Good.
Thank you.
That's my British broadcasting voice. And when I apply for a job after sports, I'll get into the narration industry.
Yeah, no, I really won't, but that is my dream, to do David Attenborough, is that his name, for the BBC?
To voice a nature video.
Boy, that actually didn't sound bad. What if I get real close here?
I'm Brody Brazil, and this is nature.
That's terrible. Anyway, we move on. Look at this beautiful fall day. Look at those colors, the green of those trees, the clear blue sky. That's a typical November day in Northern California right there. I think we were at the park just playing around, exploring. Watch this. The notes, by the way, are GEC, in case you want to play that. But I should get a raise for that. Come on, the fact that I, as an NBC employee, am at the park and I know how to play that, I figured that out. Come on. I should get something for that. Give me a little bonus. Give me a little kickback. Anyway, I'll move on here. Oh, more beautiful fall pictures. Right here, I'm actually in the neighborhood taking some pictures for my family friends. Friends of our family. They're not family. No. Yeah. Family friends. They're friends of our family. There you go. They wanted their holiday pictures. I said, this is a great spot. So here we are. Look at the colors. Look at the time of day. It's that golden hour. There's my beautiful beast, the Canon 5D Mark IV. I think I have the 70 to 200 lens on there, which you'll see, I think, in a second. But yeah, just a beautiful setting for their family photo, their family Christmas photos. So I took those. Yeah, there you go. The 70 to 200 f2.8. That's what that lens is on there. I love photography, by the way. I should do a whole separate video series on that. More outings with my son. There we are on another kid hike on the left. He's got his binoculars that he brought. And there we are in a dry creek, which probably at this moment is not dry. It's probably some water flowing in that right now. But we're out there just exploring. Again, you know, taking as much time as we can to get out. All right, December. Got our tree within the first couple days. It's amazing. There it was on the left. And then a day later, it's all decorated. Our son picked this out. It took him literally 2 seconds. We walked in, and it might have been the third tree he saw. That one. You sure you don't want to look? Nope, that one. There's other. Nope, that one. We told him anyone with the green tag was the right height, like 7 or 8 feet, something like that. This tree, it's still up in our house. It has, it's hung in there. I don't want to say it was the prettiest tree we've ever got, but it you know, it did the job. I did a little cosmetic work on it, a little crooked here and there, missing some patches here and there, but he picked it and he helped decorate it. So that was most important. A lot of shark shows in the early part of December until they got a couple games postponed. There's Brownie. That might have been one of the last oh, right there. I see it on his game notes. Sharks in Seattle. First ever game between San Jose and the Kraken. And look, there I am in the other camera and the other video monitor. You can see me taking that picture. Probably during intermission or something like that right there. Another kid hike. You can really start to see the winter taking place, all those leaves, the long shadows. Yeah, we like our hikes. Oh, look at that shot. I'm crossing the Bay Bridge going into work, and this is always a weird time of year in this respect, that I'm going into work as the sun is setting. Like, not a lot of people get that experience, but sometimes you get that beautiful sunset. What is it, 4:50 p.m.? I'm trying to look on the clock there on the screen, but and by the way, the cars, I'm going 3 miles an hour. It's on its own autopilot buffer thing. So yeah. Anyway, I literally took a quick. I do not take photos while driving, but that one we were pretty much stopped. So, but look at that sky. Look at that sky at the toll plaza right there. That's something else. We're in the creek. Yep, there's his boots. There's my boots. There's more of that. Why not just stand right in the creek? There you go. I had to get a pair of boots like his. Oh, Oakland Zoo. Now, I thought this was... Oh, it is a video.
It's not my phone.
Oh, okay.
Whoops. I tried to get that to play. Well, I'll go back to that later. Anyway, it was a beautiful ride up the gondola. And we went to not called Zoo Light. Oh, Glowfari. Used to be called Zoo Lights. Now it's called Glowfari. Beautiful ride up the gondola that night. It's on my Instagram too if you want to check that out. Okay, so now we're here. I think this is post-Christmas. We got some Legos among the other things. There's my son building the space shuttle. Those are fun, right? They're even challenging for dad sometimes to be like, wait, what is that piece? And then to watch him put it all together. It is a good time. The fire is definitely cooking. I mean, it's been cold lately. So got the fireplace rolling again. It's that time of year. And yeah, there's Melvin. I think this is it. I think this might be the last picture. Melvin with one of his new Christmas toys. He got a watermelon for Christmas. Ah, and that is the end. So, 162 pictures, like an hour and 5 minutes later, here we are. And I'm summing up 2021. I don't know, as I go back and look at those photos, yeah, there were some good things that happened. I mean, look, healthy, I'm here, I'm alive, family's good. So in all those senses, maybe I'm just being too picky. I didn't mean to be too down on 2021 to start this video. I just think on the heels of 20, there were so many expectations, and some of them were fulfilled. Many of them were not. Many of the important ones were not. Or they were, but it came with some extra challenges in 2021. So I don't know. I won't look back on this year and say, oh, it was the greatest ever. I know some people are more positive than me about it, but we got through it. And maybe that in itself is the accomplishment. So let me know what you think about this video, either in the live chat or in the comment section below. But I really appreciate all of you kind of letting me do that and sharing this with me. That is my 2021 in 162 photos.